Hello Commanders and welcome to part 6 of our Star Wars Legion Invasion Force build journey brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil. In this video we will be finishing off the basing of the droidekas and then working on General Grievous, possibly the most time consuming miniature in this set, as he's a character model, one of the two centerpieces of this force. As with the Magna Guard and droidekas, we've undercoated General Grievous with a light grey Rattlecan off camera. Now we're going to start with the darkest colour first, and this is going to be the contrast paint Black Templar. This will be used on all of the mechanical parts under the armour plating. We're going to be careful to avoid hitting any areas that we don't want the Black Templar on, but this can be easily cleaned up if needed. Now we have stuck General Grievous on top of a paint pot to allow us to have more control when holding the model. You can use any type of painting handle here, but we don't own one, so Guilliman Blue Glaze pot will have to do the job. Right, so time to give that a bit of a time to dry, and let's get on with the basing of the droidekas. As previously, a dry brush of Shabti Bone over the dried Martian Iron Earth, and then back to Grievous while this dries. Now for General Grievous, we're going to go for a more traditional paint job here, so using very few, if any, contrast paints on this model. What we're going to do is we're going to start with Rhinox Hide as our base colour. We're going to work our way up to Shabti Bone. And we're not going to do a load of layers here because we're also on a bit of a time frame, and we're not the most confident a painter, and sometimes that can cause you to lose focus. Now, we're going to start with a nice thin coat of Rhinox Hide on all of the armour panels, trying to be as careful as possible not to hit any of that previously painted Black Templar. Now, a fair amount of swapping around here. We're going back to those Droidica bases whilst the Rhinox hide dries. And it's time for the Abaddon black around the rim of the base. Again, remember to have somewhere you don't mind getting paint on to put these down, as those rims will have a little bit black on the bottom of them. Now, as we said, in the interest of speed, we're going to skip the 50-50 mix step here and go straight to the Ashanti Baneler on all of Grievous's armour. We will leave the deeper recesses with the Rhinox hide. And finally, we get to finish off the Droidica bases with the Gamer Grass Dry Tufts. That does make 7 units completed now. We're very happy with how these have actually turned out. We think they actually look really good, and we can't wait to get them onto the table. Eventually, we will get round to doing the rolling versions of them, but for this, we are happy with having the 4 standing ones. Back to General Grievous now. We're going to give a wash over all of the armour panels with the Agrat's Earthshade, thinned with a little water. This will give it a slightly dirtier feel to the armour and also provide some nice recess shading to any areas that need this. Looking to avoid any pooling on the miniature and any tide marks on there, so being quite clean with what we're doing, and hopefully going to have a really nice look to this armour. Now, with all the armour done, it's time to do those lightsabers, and we've decided to go for 2 green and 2 blue in opposite arms here, just for a little bit of added interest. Now for this, we're just going to go for a straight coating for each blade, with the handles being left black. You can obviously look to fade the light going through here on the lightsabers, do some object source lighting, or even, as we've seen, have a block colour with a thin line of white to give the effect of illumination, but we're just going for a straight colour here. Possibly we may look to touch up a little bit later in the future. Now for one of the last steps before we do the basing on General Grievous, we're just going to highlight those armour panels. What we're going to do is going to go back to the Ashanti Bone and put in a little drop of Vallejo's dead white just to brighten that up. And it's really going to help sell this model as actually not just being completely flat panels. So get that on there on the most prominent parts at the top, and we think it's going to look great. Then it's time to get basing. Now for the familiar Vallejo Vermilion on the base, and time to touch up that clone helmet with a coat of Apothecary White contrast paint to give it a nice gritty feel. We're obviously going to cover this a little bit when we do the Champy Bone dry brush as well, to really make it look like it's been crushed into the ground by Grievous's foot. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. Only the AAT left and to finish off Grievous's base, and we are 17.5 hours in. Barring any mishaps, we are in the final stretch now, so looking good to be completing well within that 24-hour time frame. Don't forget to click like on the video, subscribe to keep up to date, and if you do like what we're doing here at Out of Art Gaming, you can support us on Patreon with the link in the description below. But we will see you next time.